But when the AI does it, they're not happy little trees. They're soulless trees.
They are soulless trees, exactly.
You know, it doesn't have that feel, that warmth that you get from Bob Originals. Welcome to Evening with an Artist, a podcast created by students for students, where animation junkies Jordyn and Rich geek out about animation, interview industry professionals, and ask the questions you want answered. I'm Rich, and I love cartoons.
I'm Jordyn, and I make cartoons. Hey everyone!
Hey everybody!
Welcome to another Chit Chat episode with Jordyn and Rich.
This is another Chit Chat episode in the new year.
Woo!
New things to chit chat about.
New year, new things. New us.
As hopefully we will always have. and a brand new us.
Do you feel
brand
so much
new
different
cherry
than
flavored
a week ago?
I feel so different.
Yeah.
I mean, what day is today?
I don't know.
It's a Saturday today. So in 2 days, I'm going to be old as dirt. No, you know, I don't want to age myself, but I'm turning 39.
Rich's birthday, guys! Birthday episode!
2023 is going to be my year. At 39, you're at the top of the hill, right? Like 40, you're over the hill. Right. So it's all downhill from there. That's 39 is the year that you have the perspective all the way around the mountaintop.
I like that.
Right? So this is where I really need to look at my life and get my shit together, I guess.
I like that metaphor, though,
I can take that.
You can look at your past, and like you can look at like what you see coming in your future, and like just take
and pinpoint heed. Which direction you want to start down the mountain on.
I like that.
You know?
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm so deep. Oh my goodness. Look at me go.
Well, happy birthday.
Thanks. I'll be at work.
Yeah. As you know, we all will. That's what happens when you have a birthday during the week. Although, actually, my studio gives us our birthdays off. But
that's good for you. Totally. Totally.
Anyways.
So, me getting old isn't the only thing that's new this year.
What else is new?
Robots making art. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So, as I'm sure a lot of you have seen, and this is going to be a topic for, it's not like it's brand new or anything, but it's really been getting talked about a lot more lately, and we're going to be seeing it more and more. AI generated art.
Yeah. Now, if you follow artists on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, you've probably heard about this. Yes. And if you don't follow any artists on any of these platforms, then you probably aren't listening to us right now anyways.
Well, and the thing is like, there's so many perspectives to have. Obviously, our perspective is going to be coming from an artist. So there's a lot going on. AI is used in so many things. It's already getting used in a lot of things, in mainstream things and things that are getting sold. I tried to dive into it a little bit. It's also an intimidating thing to research, and it's a little scary because even as an artist, I am worried about it. And sometimes when I worry about things, I don't always want to know more about it. I like to just put it aside for now. But I was looking into it. There's some interesting stuff. AI is already being used in video games to make assets. So let's say someone's designing a video game, and your character is coming into a room, and the walls are covered with posters. And on these posters, obviously, they have to have some kind of art, like it's a movie poster or something. It has to have something on it. You don't want just blank photos on the wall. Anybody who's designing this room, designing these posters themselves, is going to take time.
Yeah.
Probably more time and effort than
a lot
of
people realize. They're going to thumbnail a bunch. They're going to do a bunch of roughs of different things.
Depending on how much they care. But all of this, it takes effort and time and takes talking about it and all of that stuff. So video games have been using AI to just generate random images that kind of look like art. Just putting in a few keywords. By putting in keywords, and then they can just throw it on the walls in whatever they're designing. While this sort of illustrates an idea of the approach of why using AI why it's being used.
I mean, it's efficient. It makes it undeniable that it is efficient. Mm-hmm. And in certain environments, maybe that's fine.
And again, like efficient as in like cheap, because if you look deep dive in it, you look at AI. There's a lot of AI, and it's not good. Like
right.
It really depends on what its use is for, and you can kind of understand. Like I kind of can see the perspective where like. You're in game development, and making games is expensive, and you need to find ways to cut costs. There's one room that this person might go through in a zombie apocalypse situation, and you want to have crappy posters on the wall.
Yeah, like, when it comes to like video game graphics, if you have an open world game that's got 400 different rooms you can go into, you can't pay someone to design everything for all those.
Yeah.
Rooms, like if anything, you'd be like recycling the same things over and over in every third room.
Recycling assets and stuff.
But with AI generated images, you probably don't even have to do that. You could just type in a few things in each room and have them be populated.
Yeah. Now, in case like you don't understand what AI generated art is, and to understand the problems behind it, is that AI it doesn't just make these things up from scratch. Right? It needs to have a body of information that we give it, and it takes from that body information and it turns it into something new.
Yeah. So it's basically
new, and I say new in like with bunny ears, but like
right. Well, it mashes things together and it generates a bastardized image of what all of these things, a generalization of something under this keyword would look like, right?
And it copies. And what like you have to understand one of the scares with AI art now is like, even if people like, is it morally okay for people to use AI even in a situation like in a video game where they're trying to make tiny little assets for cheap stuff on the walls? Like, where is the line to be drawn, and is this okay? Because even though I can see from a cheap standpoint like them using it, but you have to remember that the origin of AI art is that it's taking a whole lot
at
of
its core, it's sampling
it's
people's IP.
Exactly. It's taking people's work and putting it into this system and using it so that it can generate something.
It's hard because it's one of those things where like it's like satire, right? Like or like parody, like Weird Al, who I love as an artist. He does a lot of parodies of other people's work. Mm-hmm. And legally, he doesn't have to get anyone's permission to do a parody of their work using all their same tunes. Like that, he can copy all of the music in their song exactly and just change the words. And as long as his people are performing that music, even though they didn't write it and have no claim to it, legally they can get away with it. They never have to get permission. He does get permission. But that's a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
But, like, this is kind of using the same principles.
Yeah, it's similar.
So, like, let's say you want to make a spaceman. So you type in the keyword spaceman, and this AI will scour the internet for anything that probably has hashtag spaceman or hashtag spaceman art or anything like that. Takes all of it together, shoves it together, and basically finds like the most like almost like an average of like what this stuff is, right? Like looks at all of it together, pieces out what makes up a body, and probably has something in a space helmet with like a booster pack or something, and then like slaps that on. So it's not directly anyone's work, but it's taken everybody's work and changed it to the point that it's something original, and I'm using finger quotes for original.
And that's like, there's a point too with that, because it does work and it doesn't work like that. One of the problems that's happening now is people are using, like, you can feed the AI a specific way in order to generate things a specific way. So what some people are doing are taking a specific artist, like a famous artist that has a lot of following, that makes a lot of money with their art.
Oh, and using like their name.
And it uses all of their stuff specifically to recreate that exact style. Oh. So it's like direct stealing, yes. So this is where it's really, because it's
This is so dangerous.
It's super dangerous.
Yeah.
And, like, the thing that, like, some people, like, there's a lot of there's
man,
a whole
this
bunch
is
of
fascinating.
it's crazy, yeah. And there's a lot of arguments on all sides, because even as an art student, as an animation student, you come in right away and they say, yes, copy art. And you're like, what? Copy art? That's okay. But what they mean when they say that is learn from other people and, like, take what other people have made to learn. Now, we're not saying make money off of it. That's its own thing. Like,
yeah.
But, like, they do talk about
which is
how,
okay
like,
on a very small scale, maybe.
yeah, and, like, they talk about, like, reference and stuff. Like, you know, use multiple references, use live photos, but also use drawn things and see what other people have done and have it as inspiration and reference and while you create your own thing.
Yeah,
so, like,
and they do, like, as a human, like, use other people's style to influence you.
Yeah.
And you will end up with your own style because you are a human and you're not that human. So
and
your style will be
yours.
slightly different, but everyone has their influences, and that's totally fair.
Exactly, and it's okay to still claim that as yours, as long as you're not, like, directly tracing something, saying that it's yours and making money off of it. Like, that's where problems arise. But what's happening with some AI in the instances now is that people who are using it, in horrible ways, to steal specific people's art, emulate that style, and then therefore make money off.
And are, like, they're not trying to pass it off as that person's art.
Some of them are. So people
because that would be directly illegal.
Like, there's like fake accounts being made saying that they have this art made by this person and they're selling it. There's also some stuff where, like, maybe they're not saying that it's this person's art, but they're like, it's very, very obviously, like, pulled from their stuff.
Yeah.
And have to understand too is that the people who are, like, using this AI technology to, like, essentially steal other people's work, the effort required is so minimal because the AI is doing the work for you. And that's the other thing that comes into question, like, is AI art? Like, even if we could find a moral way to use it, like, is it art anymore? And, like, what is this going to mean for artists in the future? Like, there's just so many things. There's a lot of feelings.
I mean, it is so hard to say. And it's the idea of, like, the idea of AI is triggering to anybody.
Yeah.
When we think AI, we think, robot apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, that is where it is going. At no point in the past decades did anyone ever think they're going to take our art jobs.
Yeah.
Like, that is the farthest thing that you would ever imagine AI would be used for. Mm-hmm. And, like, if it is so effective at doing this, like, I don't, like, having AI now that can, like, replicate or, like, not replicate, I'll make its own art by sourcing other people's art, that can answer your questions in conversational ways. Right? Like, they have AI programs now that are getting so close to operating like humans that it's at the point that it's, like, really getting scary.
Yeah, it's scary. I saw this
I'm throwing my toaster in the garbage.
I know. I saw a video of, like, how far, like, robotics is coming, and, like, these robots that they made that can jump up stuff and, like, do flips in the air and stuff. And
like parkour robots.
Yeah, literally parkour robots. And I'm like, like, it's just, it's all very weird and scary stuff.
How long is it going to be before we have a robot police force that decides what's right and wrong and how we get punished?
Exactly. Like, there's all kinds
and can scale buildings.
Yeah. And again, like, everyone take a deep breath. We're here for you and it's going to be okay. If we're just kind of touching on it right now, and again, like, there's so much research that I really want to deep dive into it, and I've been, like, touching on it here or there. If you have been affected by this, like, someone has literally been using it to steal your art, please contact us and let us know. Like, I want to hear your story. I want to hear the things that are coming up. There's nothing we
can do to help you, but we want to hear.
We want to hear, and, like, we can give your story a voice. Like, I want to be here as a voice for people. Where I stand right now is, like, if someone's art is getting directly stolen, if somebody is using AI to intricately imitate another artist, like, I don't think that's okay. I'm always here for artists getting paid their dues. and getting paid for what they deserve and the things that they make. And even like I have an Instagram art account, and it was really important for school and getting hired, and you know, I want to put my art out there.
But now you know that's public domain.
But it's scary because like you put stuff out without a watermark, and like people don't like looking at art with a watermark. But like if you put things out there and things can just take it, it's terrifying. Like you put your stuff out there and it feels like it's no longer yours, and then people aren't going to want to pay for your art. Like there's a lot of people, I feel like, and again, like if you're totally for AI art, like I want to have like a serious,
we want to hear from you too.
Conversation.
Find out what went wrong in your wiring.
No, like I'm curious to see like what people's arguments for. Like I've been seeing a lot of artists that are like totally set against it. I've seen some other people being like, okay, like AI art is a bad idea, but you know what? It's happening. Like it's here to stay for now. There's no legalities against it. Like the legislation
that is
is
one
muddy.
thing, right? Like it is happening now that it exists. It will not go away.
So, like, what do we do about it now? Yeah. Like, you know, it's time to, like, understand that and, like, move on and figure out what to do next. How to deal with it, like, I don't know. If, you know, if you weren't really totally unsure what was happening or how to understand it, that's essentially what is happening. There's now AI programming, it's getting easier and easier and easier for people to take other people's art, and they're making stuff out of it. Some of it, it's very obviously AI art. Like
this is the thing with this AI art, right? Like it's all just like algorithms, I'm assuming, and someone is always plugging these things in. Like there's always someone behind it, right?
I think so. Like it's, again, there's still so much that I don't understand, but I've been seeing a bunch of stories of people coming up and being like, you know, my art was stolen. Like, look, you can see that this person is like perfectly emulating all of my stuff, and like they're saying that they have stuff that's mine or whatever, that it's their own art property when it's like so obviously mine. Then I see stories like with big companies are using AI art like to fill in assets and stuff, and like I can see it from like a money saving point. Like I get it, but the problem that we still have to like remember, and like before it goes so far, like I just want people to understand the origin of this stuff, because no matter where you're using it, it all has a base of like stealing art, because like no one person has like made enough original art that they've said like, yeah, here AI, you can have it. And there's even the thing now with like,
I don't know. I think on the moral ground, I think there is a use for it that is not, I want to say like malicious. Like, okay. I think the idea of like using it for like a small amount of like video game assets, as long as you're not stealing any single person's aesthetic,
right?
I understand that.
Yeah.
And I you know, that's a concession that I would feel like that the community, now that they know it exists, would just have to make. Like, we get that this is a thing, just don't take it this far. Yeah. And I the problem is, as soon as this technology exists, all the bad actors come out and get their hands on it and say, how can I scam people with this technology? And it's something that is completely unregulated and brand new. And
that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I do get what you're saying, because it's, you know, it's like, well, what if I only, like, it's just used for this little bit. It's stuff that's found over scouring, like, people, like, who have put photos on the internet, like, years ago and all this stuff, like, and it's not, like, I mean, these AI-generated stuff for, like, the video games, they're not good. Like, if you look at stuff closely, a lot of the stuff, you can tell it has problems. There's, like, they'll be like, make this girl in, like, standing in a meadow or something, and you can tell that this wasn't what the person was asking for exactly. Like, it's got problems.
Yeah. But you know it's only going to get better.
But it's just going to get better. And then, yeah, it's just...
Like, how long will it be before it can make enough similar pictures that it can make its own cartoon?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and this is the other thing. Like, for example, in my job, I work in the Toon Boom Harmony program. And, you know, I am responsible for moving all the pieces of the build. But I can also use the program to my advantage where the computer does some of the work for me.
Yeah.
It's very minimal, and I have to do all the initial work. Like if I make one pose and then I make another pose and then I want a pose that's kind of in between, I can turn a tween on and take something and I'm like, okay, that's kind of close to what I want. And then I have to go in and fix it.
Yeah.
But like what happens when the computer's getting so smart that it can just make stuff move for me?
Yeah.
And like when
the AI knows how to fix the tweens.
Yeah. What point when it starts to learn, like if we ever get to a point where it can understand it and it can animate in a way that a person can, like if we ever get to that point, then what? Like at that point, everything that we're already consuming can, like, people are going to lose jobs, it's going to get cheaper for things to be made, things are all going to be made like that. Like art could be, in theory, become like a lost art. You know,
could.
Like it could, we could lose like the humanity and creativity of art itself. And like, again, we're getting kind of dramatic.
There's like
but
AI that can like physically paint paintings.
Yeah.
Like
there was this. I watched this
weird.
video of this guy. Like this happened a little bit before it was like really coming out, stuff about AI, and I didn't know what it was. And this guy was like, "Oh look, I have this AI program, and I'm gonna paint like a thing." And he was like kind of painting, and he was like, "I can just say put trees here," and he was like clicking buttons, and it was putting trees, kind of like Bob Ross kind of a scene.
That's so weird.
And I was like, "What? Like what now? This is happening?" And then
but when the AI does it, they're not happy little trees. They're soulless trees.
They are soulless trees, exactly.
You know, it doesn't have that feel, that warmth that you get from Bob originals.
Exactly. But again, like it's, at what point do we draw the line? At what point, like, do we start to get concerned about what's happening? Does it start to feel like it's stealing? Does it start to feel like people are having a really easy time making money off of supposed art when it's not art? And we're also having, artists are getting attacked by other people in comments saying, that's clearly AI generated art. Like, you could not be that good of an artist. Like, that's AI.
Oh,
and
really?
then, so now artists are having to post
to defend their own art,
videos of them making their art, so that
I feel like that's
just
that's probably just like heavy trolling. I don't know.
And it is, but it's sort of, it's like the other side of like people coming in and being like, oh, like now you're claiming that this is yours. This is totally, you made this with AI, and people are like, no, I didn't. I've been making this the whole time. And again,
yeah, it's hard as an artist who's working on like commissions, and someone has to pay hundreds of dollars for like one piece of your work. I mean, yeah, for you to say, yeah, this took me 80 hours of work to make it this nice for you.
Yeah.
To have someone be like, I don't believe you did. This is
AI
so good. I think you
a robot did this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and again,
only a robot could achieve this level of perfection.
Yeah. Well, and AI, like, being used in the art industry, it doesn't already help the problems that we have with getting fair pay for the things that we create, because like so many people do not understand that the time and the effort that goes into creating something original, and understanding that like this wasn't something I did in 20 minutes, that it took so much planning. And not only that, but like you have to remember, like, I took all of this school before, and I have years of experience, and like people should be paying for that. And this happens in a lot of other industry where people get paid for that kind of experience, but it's still such a stigma in the art community that like, people expect to get things for free even, or at least really cheap, and they don't understand why things are so expensive.
And people are more than happy to get a knockoff for cheaper.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna bring this back to the whole thing when Walmart started blowing up, and everyone was like, "Oh no, well, yeah, you can get the same stuff at Walmart for cheaper, but I want to support mom and pop shops." But no one can afford to support all the mom and pop shops. Like I don't know a single human being who is still boycotting Walmart, like everyone said they were going to do when Walmart started. Like it's the place to go. If you need anything, you go to Walmart and you get it. Like,
and it sucks because I despise Walmart. I hate shopping there. I don't I love the stuff that I can get, and the stuff that it's cheaper. Like, I go to Walmart for the cheapness, but I don't have a good experience there ever because it's a badly managed place. They don't take care of their employees. All of their employees hate their lives. You can tell. And I've heard it.
I just don't talk to them.
Like,
I have a fine time at Walmart.
And also, like, but also, like,
people.
you don't see employees anywhere. Like, you see them at the cash, and that's it. Like, you
Really?
rarely see people around. I just feel like it's not a place, because it's like a retail store, but like at most, like, mom and pop retail stores, you'd have someone, oh, hi, hey, how are you? Like, can I help you find anything? No one asks you if they can help you find anything at Walmart. Like,
no,
that kind of customer service doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's like they don't even.
That.
It's like they don't even encourage that, which
any
retail does strongly. But yeah, I've never had someone at a Walmart. Like I do see a lot of workers at Walmart.
Yeah.
But I've never had one of them look at me when I'm confused and say, "Oh, do you need help? Can I help you find anything?"
No, you have to like hunt them down. And like I do see people like stocking shelves and stuff, or like, you know, putting clothes away in the fitting room. But like if you can't find something, trying to hunt someone down in Walmart is impossible. And again, I'm not like racking on the employees. It's the way the business is run. And that's the thing. And now we've gotten to this point where there aren't mom and pop shops anymore for most things.
Yeah, most of them did close down, like because of that.
And it's terrible, and it happened anyways. And this is like, and again, we got tangented, but it all makes sense. Yeah,
big tangent.
Yeah, but
sorry, I brought up Walmart.
But that's sort of what is the concern, that like this is the beginning of like Walmart's version of art, like where like AI, this is the beginning where some people are like, oh, but like it's better and it's cheaper for these things, and like we're only using it for this, like that's fine, which like I can understand.
But it will phase out freelance artists.
Exactly.
Like the writing's on the wall. It seems like it's going to be very hard for any freelance artist to survive in a world where they're competing with AI.
Like this is like it's starting to affect people now, but there's nothing stopping it. Like what are people going to do? Like, oh, this guy used AI to like do this, like because of all the like kind of the gray areas of the whole thing. It's really hard to find like set rules on it, and like they're gonna have to like get them on other things. Like it's not. There's just no like specific legislations for these things right now. Yeah. And it's scary, and like people are scared. I'm scared. Like I haven't really been posting anything. I don't have a lot new to post, but I worry when I post like new art on my Instagram and stuff. I'm like, you know, people could just screenshot it and take it. Like it's not that hard. Like what am I supposed to do?
Especially in a digital world where like everything you own basically exists on the internet somewhere. You know, whether it's on the cloud or on like a Google Drive or something, it's all somewhere on some server that you don't have 100% control over. Yeah. And like people can take anything. Yeah. I don't know.
It's really scary.
Here's what we got. We got to take one of these AIs. We reprogram it to attack the other AIs. Yeah. Like a virus. Or maybe we send it back in time to kill whoever invented this AI before he invents it.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm really curious. Like,
it really seems like it's just doom. Like it
is, and like imagine. That's the thing. And again, like I don't want to make you guys super anxious or.
We started this one off on a really positive note.
I know, and it just like it's unfortunate, and like we're gonna do what we gotta do, but we're gonna get through it. I am though. Please reach out. I'm really curious. Like. Reach out with any thoughts you have on the subject, or if you have any experience with it. Do you have any AI program or anything? Like, can you explain to me how it works?
If anyone is using it, or anyone has been victim of someone using it, if your life is in any way affected by AI personally, ours isn't yet, so we want to know from someone who is.
And like, if you have AI programming and you use it and you want to tell me about it, I promise I won't scream at you. I'm just curious. I want to understand it more. And, like, see if I can see where anyone else is coming from when it comes to using it. But, like, we're just concerned.
Someone explain to us the positives.
Yeah, because we're concerned about the future. That's all. Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be so much more coming up about it. It's going to continue to evolve. I'm sure we'll talk about it more again. But I just wanted to kind of touch on it since it's a very hot button topic right now. Yeah.
We just briefly touched on it for half an hour.
It's crazy though, because there's so much we could talk about it. Like it could go on for hours. So. Yeah. But anyways, in more positive light, what you been watching, Rich?
what have I been watching? Isn't that a great question? Lately I've been watching so many things, and it's not like me.
Yeah, I'm usually the one that's seeing all this stuff.
To watch this many things. Of course, caught up with the latest season of Dragon Prince.
Nice.
Which is amazing.
Okay.
As always, Dragon Prince is made by Wonderstorm Studios. Did
Nice.
you know that? I didn't. I just assumed it was all Netflix, but I guess they're outsourcing to the studio, which
Do you know what
I
the studio
researched
is?
enough to look them up. I
Okay.
didn't research them enough to see anything about them.
Okay.
But plug the studio. It's Wonderstorm.
Cool.
Look it up and
Yeah.
find out some stuff about them. But like, I love this show. Obviously, it's very close to Avatar because one of the head writers of Avatar is one of the creators of Dragon Prince, which I hadn't really put together. But like, when I looked into it, I wanted to see if it was coming out of like Nickelodeon, and it is not. It is, Netflix, outsourced to this other studio.
That's so
yeah,
interesting.
this guy Aaron, it has, I'm probably butchering his last name, but I don't know. It was one of the head writers of Avatar: The Last
That's
Airbender.
so cool.
I find it strange that there are so many like literal Easter eggs from Avatar in this series.
Interesting.
If you pay attention,
Okay.
that like the thing where Callum like picks up a thing, a boomerang. It is not literal, but then
Right.
there are other things like in the latest season. There's a couple like literal nods to Avatar that are
Amazing.
like using assets from the show that seems like you wouldn't be allowed to do it.
Right.
Being from a competing studio.
Right.
But
it's
I
like the
guess
writer,
they're
so
doing
I
it.
guess
Yeah,
you can.
I guess.
That's
But I
so
love it so
interesting.
much. Like the series is so great. Everything about it is great. It's got so much heart.
Okay.
I remember at first I didn't like the animation style. I
Yes.
found like the first couple episodes, even when I watched them, the first couple episodes just seemed choppy to me for whatever reason. But I love all the characters. I love everything that happens. Like, it's so great.
Oh, this is cool. I have started it, but I still haven't kind of like picked it back up, and I really want to watch it with my partner. So
Yeah.
we'll put that on the roster. Try and like have something going that's like a little more consistent, where like we watch it,
Yeah.
every night or every couple nights or something.
So hard watching shows together.
It is, especially because my partner works nights half the time, so like that makes it extra hard to just put stuff on. And then sometimes when we're home together, we kind of just like each playing separate video games or whatever. It's not always TV for us,
Yeah.
like specifically, but
Which is great. Have your
Yeah.
alone time together.
I play my Stardew and he plays whatever on the computer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's cool though. I will definitely make sure that I finish it at some point then.
Because I can't give you any spoilers about
I know.
what happens in this
I
season.
know, and I want to be able to talk
I don't even know
about
if you
it.
finished the last season. Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Jeepers.
Yeah. That's cool though.
But yeah, it's a great show. I love Dragon Prince.
Awesome.
This is a show I will recommend to anyone on the
Okay.
planet because it's great.
All right, cool. Well, maybe we'll have to talk about it more sometime then too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of sort of similar. I did randomly start watching Dragon Age Absolution, which it's on Netflix. It's based off of a video game.
Yeah.
Right?
Dragon Age game, which I've never played.
Which I haven't played. Yeah, we haven't played it. I haven't watched the whole thing. I watched, I think, the first few episodes or something. It's really cool. I really like it. The problem with it is I was trying to draw at the same time, and it's so engaging that I couldn't do other things at the same time. So I had to kind of put it down. But it's really cool.
Yeah.
I was really into it.
I did watch the whole thing. I was doing a puzzle the whole time.
Nice.
So I was like half watching it.
Yeah.
Puzzles aren't that engaging,
No.
but you're always looking. So I wasn't really looking at the cartoon
Right.
the whole time, which obviously is always a source of guilt
Yeah.
for me. Whenever I watch a cartoon that I'm not staring at intently, I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
That's why I rewatch stuff while I do other things. I can't watch something new and not put my whole force into it. That's why I tend to put off watching things.
I always want to. That's the thing, right? There's so many
Yeah.
things that I still haven't watched
I
for that
know.
reason that it's like I gotta, at least I can understand the story of these things, even if I didn't stare at every frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Maybe that's a crime. That's why I failed out of art school and you didn't.
No. Well, again, I can't absorb things as if I'm doing something else, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
If I haven't seen it before. It's the same reason I can't listen to an audiobook of a book I haven't already read. I just get lost.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is like a lot of people are all like, if I'm listening to an audiobook while I'm doing other things and I haven't already read the book, I tend to like dissociate from what I'm hearing and like focus on what I'm doing in and out, and sometimes I'll miss pieces and suddenly I'm like, it's like I've zoned out of what I'm hearing and I'm like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah. It's hard because like your like visual sense is
because
like,
I'm
kind
usually
of in command,
like
right?
working or something, right? Like if I'm cleaning the house or something or playing video games, it's not usually an audiobook that I want to listen to. But I'm working, I like listening to audiobooks of stuff I've already read, like the Harry Potter series. So those are great.
Yeah.
To listen to while you're working.
Because it doesn't matter if you miss something.
Yeah.
But I've done that even with like listening to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll be listening to a podcast and doing something else, and all of a sudden I'll be like, what are they talking about? And I'll have to back it up 5 minutes because I just totally zoned out and I don't know what the conversation...
That happens to me too a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why I usually
probably happens to everyone who listens to this podcast all the time.
Well, and hey, we're totally okay with being your background noise.
Yeah.
Whatever works for you guys.
Just the white noise in people's lives.
Dragon Age Absolution, it looks really cool. It's got that kind of like retro style. I really like it.
Yeah.
The story was really good and engaging. The characters
story was very
are good.
Visually nice. The characters are good.
Yeah, totally recommend.
It is a very inclusive show.
It is a very inclusive show, which is awesome.
Yeah, you got dudes kissing, and you're like, keep kissing dudes.
Oh, yeah. And got girls kissing. It's great.
Everyone's just kissing. I think we're actually watching a different show.
But yeah, I totally recommend it. And if you played the video game, like, let me know what it's like, because I don't know. I'm interested story wise. What the video game is like.
I never have. My girlfriend has, and she was the one who put it on in the first place.
Okay.
And she liked it.
Nice.
And that's all I know.
Fair enough.
So I just finally got around to watching The Boys Diabolical on Prime because, as you know, my Prime is like 4 buttons away from my Netflix, and that's too many buttons for me to switch platforms. So I never watched Prime, but I did. I watched all of The Boys Diabolical. It is a very like episodic, like standalone episodes. I think there's only like 7 or 8 of them.
Oh, okay.
So it's about The Boys.
Okay.
The Amazon Prime show, The Boys. You know The Boys.
I've heard of it.
Okay.
But I haven't watched it.
So it's like a superhero show, but you're pretty much always rooting against the superheroes.
Okay.
And there's a lot of blood and swearing and stuff.
Gotcha.
And so I watched this cartoon because I was reading a thing on Cartoon Brew that was talking about like some of the most influential cartoons of 2022. And this was on the list, and they were talking about, you know, how crazy and like over the top it was.
Okay. Is it kind of like Invincible in that sense?
No. And here's why.
Okay.
Because Invincible was good.
Yeah. And this was not.
And this is... Every episode is written by a different person, and a lot of them are written by celebrities. So, like, Seth Rogen wrote one, Awkwafina wrote one, Andy Samberg wrote one, which was one of the best, actually. It was really weird. It's the last thing you would ever expect to come from Samberg. But Awkwafina's episode is about a girl who gets the superpowers and farts out a sentient turd and then ends up like being in control of turds, and her turd are best friends. I think the episode's called BFFF. I'm assuming it's best fart friend forever. Yeah, it was best really weird. But like every episode has a so that episode was done in like a very like chibi manga style.
Okay.
Some episodes are done in a very more like Invincible style, and then some other episodes are done like they all have their own animation style. I didn't look into it to see if they were like outsourcing to different studios for each episode. Okay. I think they might have been, and I think that's like a really cool approach to take really because they're all standalone. The episodes have no bearing on the show, and they have nothing to do with each other. Like if you kind don't like ever watch this, except it's like it's attached to something, but it's not canon at all, right? So like if you don't watch this cartoon, you're never going to be missing part of the story. Gotcha. It is literally, it's a throwaway cartoon.
Interesting.
It might appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Most of the episodes didn't appeal to me.
Fair enough. Should I check it out of weird curiosity? Is it something
yes.
weird? Okay.
I would say it's worth, if you have Prime and you are interested in cartoons as an art form, I would say it's worth checking out of weird curiosity, in part just because every episode's a different style. Mm-hmm. That being said, some of the episodes are over the top and possibly offensive. But yeah, have at it. I don't know.
If that's what you like.
It was interesting, like, it was interesting to watch from like a cartoonist perspective.
Okay.
This story-wise, it just didn't need to happen. It's not like Marvel What If, where like everything was, some of them were a little weird, but they were all canon, yeah. And then they built into like the next movies, so it kind of had that aspect. Like this is something that doesn't necessarily need to happen.
Which I enjoyed, if you want to watch everything in order exactly as it's supposed to happen. Those are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
That is cool. But that's enough about that show.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's a maybe for me then, I'll say.
Yeah, it's a maybe. You might want to watch it, you might not. Another thing I watched recently, let's talk about this briefly. I finally watched Black Cauldron. Disney's Black Cauldron, from what, like 1980 or something?
How did this come about where you were like, I'm going to watch Black Cauldron?
I got home, my girlfriend was sick, she was watching Pixar movies, so we started watching Pixar movies, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then I was like, since we're both like sleeping sick on the couch, because I got sick too, I was like, hey, we're not going anywhere, let's finally watch this old movie that I've never seen.
I feel like watching in a sick haze it makes it
this is like
even
the
worse.
Only way you could get through it, because it didn't. I probably slept through most of it.
Yeah.
But I was awake for the parts that mattered, and everything about that movie was boring.
Yeah.
And scary.
Yeah.
To it, I mean, I'm an old man, so I wasn't scared, but like.
But
when I was a kid, I had to leave the theater because I was too scared of Ratigan in Great Mouse Detective. There is no way my parents would have ever brought me to see Black Cauldron. Because they would take one look at that, like, Horned King, is that what they call him? I don't know. Whatever the skeleton, evil skeleton bad guy. Like, it's everything about that terrifying. Was just like pure terror. Yeah, like there is no way I could have watched that as a kid. And it's boring as all hell. Like the music was all like ominous, like boring, like some kind of like flute or like woodwind. Like it just had like the music just like lulls you to sleep. Yeah. And then they try to shock you back awake with like terrifying images. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
I no longer feel like I missed out by not watching it through my entire life.
Yeah, I remember watching it as a kid, and it was traumatizing. And it's been years since I've watched it again. There's still a small part of me that wants to just watch it so I can remember
how it sucked.
Bad it was, which like is a funny thing to say, but it's like, when like it's one of those movies that people still kind of talk about for weird reasons, especially like, I don't know, amongst animators and stuff. So
I guess I mean, if you saw it as a kid and it has that lasting impression in you, nostalgia, because it's probably still haunting your nightmares.
It kind of reminds. Did you ever see The Troll in Central Park?
I did not.
Okay.
That was yeah, I don't know who did that.
I feel it's such a weird movie that I feel like we should watch and
talk about it?
Briefly talk about. It's so weird. That movie scared me as a kid.
Oh, really?
And it's funny how you talk about Ratigan, because like I love The Great Mouse Detective, but Ratigan did kind of scare me as a kid. He was pretty scary.
Yeah, he was a scary dude.
Yeah, he's a scary guy. Mean. And like it's it's interesting to see the evolution of movies and like with kids and like how scarier things were when we were a kid.
We saw so much real stuff.
I know.
They're not allowed to see that stuff anymore.
Scary things, traumatic things, like Bambi. Like
Bambi's dad.
Like
Dumbo's mom.
Yeah. Like there's some horrifying
Pinocchio's
things that we have seen.
Like there was some terrifying stuff.
But it's funny that you randomly watched it.
Yeah.
That. But yeah.
It's been my whole life, and I was like, how have I not seen this one? I've seen everything else, I think. But this one always flew under the radar, and it's for good reason, because it's garbage.
Have you seen Quest for Camelot?
I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. I don't think I have.
Because my friend and I were talking kind of about Black Cauldron the other day, and I brought up Quest for Camelot because even though they're very different, sometimes I kind of, in my brain, I kind of like scramble them
because they both
together.
have that kind of like castle theme.
Yeah,
right?
and I think they were around the same time. Quest for Camelot, I don't think is Disney. I think it's
definitely not.
Or
that's what I don't know.
something.
Like, I always just assume that anything that wasn't Disney was Bluth.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of it actually was.
No. Quest for Camelot definitely wasn't. I don't think it was Bluth. I'm trying to like just think of like what the girl looked like, and that would like help me figure it out, but I don't think so. Quest for Camelot, it's not a super scary movie or anything. No. It's just that somehow it gets kind of screwed in my mind, and like it's something I want to watch again because as a kid I would see previews for it, but it was never in my roster of films, and I could never find it in like Blockbuster and stuff. So like it took me forever to be able to like see it.
Interesting. But then you finally saw it like later in life?
Yeah, and then I was really into it. I had like a little crush on like the guy that's in it. It's essentially this like, I think from memory, it's this basic story is like this princess girl ends up lost in the woods, and she finds this guy who's like blind, and he lives in the woods, and she can't understand why he lives in the woods, but he like knows the woods by heart, and these are like the most dangerous woods ever. But because he's like learned to like live with the land, he knows where absolutely everything is, and it's how he sees. Like you can't even tell that he's blind until like you see his eyes. And she's so surprised to find out that he's blind. And then they go on this adventure, but then there's these weird like dragon side characters that are like comic relief, and and it becomes eventually like a love story or whatever, obviously, but it's such a weird movie, and like it's just like one of those weird ones from like our childhood that like I still vaguely remember, and just like I have an urge to watch it again.
We should definitely watch it. I don't think I've seen it, but I may have. But there are some movies that there were so many cartoons coming out back then.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of, and I didn't see a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think about it now, like the amount of movies that I didn't see, even though like I was always into animation and always wanted to be an animator. But I don't know, like maybe because things that weren't Disney, I was like,
yeah, maybe.
I don't need to see that. It's not Disney. I don't want to watch some knockoff movie. Like,
yeah. And I mean, even as a kid, I could tell the difference between Disney films and stuff that wasn't. And like, you know, as much as that makes it sound like a snob, it's just, that's just the reality is like there's certain quality that like even as a kid I would look for. But
and then Disney got Lion King, and then they reached like the apex, and they couldn't possibly reach that again. So everything else after was like, then you're watching Disney movies being like, oh, I wish I was watching something else. I mean, that's my opinion.
Fair enough.
I know you still love most of the Disney movies after Lion King.
I will be a Disney nerd for the rest of my life. I love Disney movies, and I love stupid like musical Disney movies. I love Frozen, and I love Moana, and I
love all those too.
And like I love Encanto, and I love them all.
Yeah.
Pick one. I dare you guys. Pick one I don't like. Probably hard.
I did just watch another movie that I watched the other day while we were sick, Emperor's New Groove. And it was great.
It's so great.
I remember the first time I watched that, I was like, I don't like this at all. And I don't know why I thought that.
I know. It's so good.
Took a long time of people telling me that it was good.
I know.
And,
I definitely think I liked it more as an adult than as a kid. And I didn't see it a lot as a kid. I don't think I had that opportunity in kind of those like golden years to see it like when it actually came out.
Yeah.
But it's so good. And even like Kronk's New Groove, like the sequel, it's actually kind of good. Like surprisingly. But yeah, Emperor's New Groove, it's amazing, and like I love Kronk, and like I love Yzma so much. They're It's so ridiculous. I love it so much. Some of it's really simple. Like, they have the whole sequence where they're just, like, at the dinner table and, like, they're, like, giving him a dinner and they're trying to poison him. It's, like, this long-ass sequence when all they're doing is sitting at a table and talking, and Kronk's just coming back and forth with appetizers. And it's phenomenal.
It is.
Like...
And I really think that's one of those things that, like... their final team of writers, you know, threw in when they were just, like, throwing stuff at the wall, basically, at the end. Like, pretty much all of the appeal of that movie, I think, is all this stupid stuff that they were just like, yeah, let's see how this flies.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Here's something ridiculous that has no business being in this movie. Mm-hmm. When they're on their way back and they do, like, them on, like, showing on the map how they're moving with, like, the colored lines, and then it shows them, like, running and the colored lines are in front of them, and they're like, oh, what is this, you know? And then it shows the other people and then they get back and they're like, how did you get here faster than us? And they're like, we don't know.
Yeah.
That was great.
It's quite the gag.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about a movie I saw recently.
Okay.
It's not
something I don't know about?
No. It's not super new, but... And I've been meaning to watch it, but I kept seeing previews for it and, like, seeing it on Netflix, and I was like, it doesn't look like something I would like. So I put it off. But finally, and my partner Cam, he's been bugging me. He's been wanting to watch it. And every time we get Netflix together, he's like, can we watch it? And I'm like, no. So finally I was like, here, you can pick whatever you want. And he picked it. And I was like, okay, fine. Sea Beast. It's so good, guys. It's so good.
It wasn't enough for, like, an Oscar or something.
I hope so. So, and even when I first started watching it, and, like, Cam had these thoughts too, and I won't get crazy deep because you haven't seen it yet. Right?
I have not seen it.
Okay, watch it.
Just don't tell me how it ends.
Very important. But even as it started, I was like, I'm not 100% in love with how it looks, and also, so, like, I mean, there's sea beasts in it, like, big surprise.
Yeah.
They don't look the best. It's funny because there's the film establishes a pretty decent aesthetic of how it looks, and then these sea beasts are such a low level of detail. Kind of picture, like, Toothless, but without wings and in the water.
And, like, not textured or something? Like,
yeah, like, very, very cartoony, kind of silly looking, but they're supposed to be, like, the deathly scary monsters.
Right.
Okay? Like, the main sea beast that they befriend is, like, the silliest looking one of them all, kind of. It's not horrible looking, but it in no way has any kind of a menacing
But do you think, like,
to it.
Are you saying that, like, from a character design aspect, they phoned in the sea beasts, whereas everything else it looks like they committed to?
So... The very brief, like, storyline of it is, like, it's this little girl who's always dreamed of being a pirate like her parents, and both her parents are dead. And so she's always revered this, like, one pirate that's on this special ship, and she's always wanted to, like, join his crew.
Is she, like, a stowaway?
So, exactly. So she becomes a stowaway onto a pirate ship while they're going off, and, like, all these pirate ships are hired by the monarchy to go out and preemptively kill the sea beasts before they kill them. And there's this whole lore of this, like, long forgotten war of the sea, when the sea beasts, like, destroyed a bunch of people's land and stuff.
Right.
So the story's really cool. It looks decent. The character designs I'm not obsessed with. I think the little girl looks amazing, totally on point. The guy, I'm gonna take him or leave him. He's okay. But some of the character designs are pretty cool. Yeah, like, the beasts, I get, like, they don't look bad per se, and I can see kids liking them, but they're a little too kiddish, and I feel like sometimes when, you know, they're making films predominantly for kids / family, and it's supposed to be, like, a scary character, they're not very good at hitting that line where they make a character... Like, they don't want the beast to look too scary, so they make it way too comical, but they don't find that middle ground. Like, using Toothless as an example, Toothless is cute as fuck. But I never looked at him and it was like, oh, you're not, like, the aesthetic of him and all the other monsters, they all still manage to look cool and menacing, but also not too scary. Like, I wouldn't worry about showing that movie to a kid.
You think these sea beasts are adorable and don't look scary?
Too adorable. The main one...
They're like being attacked by squishmallows?
The main one literally looks like a giant gob of silly taffy. Like that pink silly taffy that you buy in the bar and you break it. It's really
Laffy
tasty.
Taffy?
Airhead. Like Airhead taffy.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Right.
Now, it still is cute. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's cute. I really love it. And as I got over my initial musings of how everything looked, I got really into the movie, and it's fantastic. I cried like a baby.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. Please watch it, guys. Like, again, like...
So the story is captivating enough
yes.
to get you over the aesthetic.
And the aesthetic, it's not bad. It's just not quite where I would want it.
Yeah.
And the beast just kind of... It took me out. And it's not just me. Like, my partner Cam, he's not an animator. Like, he enjoys cartoons, but he doesn't normally... is not as, we'll say, opinionated as me when it comes to this stuff. And he was like, these things just kind of look silly. Like, they're not scary. And the main one, which is supposed to be the most deathly one,
is
looks
the silliest
the least,
of all.
Is the silliest of all.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Yeah. So, that's all I'll say about that stuff.
But it's good.
And again,
worth
guys,
watching.
like, totally gotta watch it. You have to watch it. It's so good. It's so good. Just like, it's unfortunate. There's like that little bit where I'm like, eh.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same that I felt about like the Netflix Scrooge musical CGI. I didn't like the aesthetic, and within a few minutes I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, you can get over it. Yeah. It wasn't
Story's
so bad.
good. It's being told well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a musical. The songs weren't bad. Like, I wasn't cringing.
Good.
It was nice.
Yeah. See, like, and you can, if it goes far enough, you can get over it. Also, the girl, of course, gets a little familiar, and it's freaking cute.
Does Sea Beast have songs?
No.
What a waste of time. Oh, watch a cartoon movie with no songs?
No, it does not have... It is not a musical, which is, like, surprising, because you'd think it would maybe be, but... Oh, it's really good, though. And I really like the flow of the story. It's very, like, believable, and it's just... It's really good, guys. You're gonna cry. If you're anything like me, you're gonna cry.
On the topic of movies that are not a musical and have beasts in them.
Okay.
I watched Strange World.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I haven't seen it yet.
You have not seen it.
Yeah.
So I will say nothing about it.
Okay.
You will fucking love this movie.
I will? Oh, yes.
I loved it. It was great. It's... Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about it at all.
Okay.
If you haven't seen Strange World, watch it because it was great.
Okay.
And if you don't think it was great, then let me know.
Okay. I will watch it then. I'll watch it soon so we can talk about it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
Okay. I'm excited.
You and Cam, you'll both love it.
Okay. Awesome.
Because it was good. It was a great movie.
I almost kind of wish I could, like, still go see it in theaters. I haven't been in the theaters in so long.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
You can go see Avatar, The Way of Water.
Yeah. My friend of mine went and actually said it was pretty good.
Apparently, it's amazing.
Yeah. Apparently, it's actually really good.
It's in 3D, right?
Yeah.
And I get, like, the only way you can watch an Avatar movie in theaters is in 3D.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't see the first one in theaters, so I don't know.
Well, and she said, like, if you're going to see it, like, please go see it. Like, don't watch it at home. It's probably not going to be worth it. Because she loves it for, like, how it looks. And so... her and her brother went to see it, and they saw it in the 3D, and they were in the chairs that move.
Oh, 4D.
So, like, yeah, so, like, they're, like, swimming through the water, and you're, like, moving with them in the water, so, like, it was an experience.
Oh, my, that's crazy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I saw the first one at home on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Same.
I didn't care at all about that movie, and everyone was telling me how incredible it was. The franchise means nothing to me because I didn't see it as it was meant to be seen. So I do, like, my girlfriend has no interest in seeing the second movie, but I really do want to give it the time to, like, rewatch the first movie and then go to theaters and watch the second one in 3D.
Apparently, you, like, don't need to see the first one at all.
Yeah, maybe, but, you know, I like
But, like, still do if, like, that's what you want.
to fill in those gaps.
Maybe we should just go see it together, like,
maybe
this week or something, and just get it out of the way.
You can take me for my birthday.
Yeah. Second birthday. But
yeah, I've seen the trailer for it, and, like, every single scene I saw in the trailer was frame breaking, right? Like, they've got the black bars, and literally every scene in the trailer is breaking frame.
Dang.
And I don't know if that's going to make it seem more 3D, or if they've just, like, in the trailer alone, they've taken that too far, I think. Like, I don't know.
That's interesting. And I'll be interested to see if I like that or not, because I have a weird thing with certain, like, film, what do we call them? Like, film tricks and stuff. So, like, for instance, if you're watching something and let's say a character, like, the camera's essentially, like, in the water, almost like at the top of the water,
right,
and a character goes by and, like, running through the water and splashes, and it splashes the camera. Splashes on the lens of the camera, and you can see water droplets on the camera. And sometimes, even in animated films, they make this effect happen. And
you don't like it?
And I hate it.
I don't know why.
I hate it. Because it completely takes me out of what I'm watching. Because
then you're like, wait, there's a cartoon man watching these people and filming them in secret?
Because I immediately remember that what I'm seeing is I'm seeing it through the lens of a camera and not seeing it myself.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, that might sound, some people might be like, well, duh, Jordyn.
You know, I get it. It takes you out of the world.
It does. It totally takes me out. I hate it.
And then you're like, these people aren't even running for their lives. They're just acting, even though they're cartoons.
And, like, when they do it in something animated and it's so deliberate, it's not just, like, something that happened, like, it's so deliberate, I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Like, it wasn't like a thing that happened to happen because it's an actual physical camera, and, like, they decided to keep it in. Even it's like they were like, okay, we're gonna have a water splash effect on the camera. That angers me to no end.
Interesting.
I don't like it.
I've gathered as much.
Yeah. So whenever I see that, I'm just like,
yeah.
So if there's, like, if I'm interested to see that and see kind of, like, how that kind of thing happens and, like, how I'll feel about it.
Yeah.
So maybe we should go see. I'm assuming it's going to be out for a little while yet, but
probably.
I don't want to, like.
They're trying to, like, break all the box office records, so I think they're just going to leave it out until it does.
Yeah. I'm not going to ever buy it. I'm not going to want to watch it at home because there's going to be no point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
And they're already doing, like, the third one. They've already started filming the third one. Like, it's crazy.
They're planning up to, like, 4 or 7 or something crazy.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I did see a cool video of Kate Winslet. She broke the record for an actor holding their breath. She held it for, like, 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
Like filming
underwater.
Titanic, or like just for fun in her bathtub?
No, in Avatar.
Oh, she's in Avatar?
I know. I didn't even know she was in Avatar. I was like,
interesting.
What? You're in Avatar? And she broke the record for an on-set, like, filming of being underwater and holding your breath.
In the Way of Water.
In the Way of Water.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is cool. Yeah.
So that's cool, and that made me, like, want to see it because I'm like, oh,
because you love Kate Winslet.
I do, but it also just like, okay, like, you know, they worked hard, like they put effort into it, like, I get it.
Back to the topic of things we've watched recently over the holiday break, let's say. Not new, but I finally watched Sing.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, my sister had like, her kids like it, and she's told me that it was great, and I was like, I don't know, I don't need to see it. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's by Illumination. It has a lot of great people, and it's like all of the voice actors are like actually singing in it, which is really cool because it's like Reese Witherspoon, Scarlett Johansson.
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, they're the only ones that I didn't know had great singing voices. Then you got like Seth MacFarlane singing, and like Taron Egerton, who ironically enough, it does an Elton John song in Sing, and then like played Elton John in Rocket Man.
Hilarious.
Who sings great Elton John. But yeah, like he was singing like Sam Smith and stuff. Like,
oh, cool.
These kids got range,
like,
you know.
If you like it, then I know I'll like it, because I just had reservations. I was like, I don't know if this is a kids movie I need to see.
It is.
Okay.
Spoiler, it is.
I will watch it.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Okay.
And you will too.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's been out for like
is it Netflix
8 years or something.
Netflix, because I feel like
Despicable
Me and stuff should still be on Netflix.
I think it was probably on Disney, because we were watching Disney that day.
Okay.
And I was just going through the list of movies. Yeah.
That's a good thing to do when you're not feeling great.
On the topic of Netflix, I recently finally got around to watching Over the Moon.
Right.
The Glenn Keane produced CGI movie that he made for Netflix a few years back.
Yeah, I watched it a while back. I remember really liking it, but I feel like I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
To like reabsorb it, because it's an interesting, like, very mythical story that kind of has like a crazy twist.
Yeah.
So
and with a weird modern take. And
yeah, exactly. But it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, the core story about, like, families coming together, that's always nice.
Yeah.
It definitely, the songs were very Disney-esque.
Okay.
Like, you know, you can tell that, like, Glenn Keane is coming from a very heavy Disney background.
Yeah.
And he's definitely bringing that to the table, you know, as a showrunner who's, you know, and it was interesting, like, they were doing this, like, with Pearl Studios, which is a Chinese animation studio, like, operating out of somewhere in China. I don't even know why I pretended that I knew where, but in China. So it's interesting that, like, they have this, they actually got a Chinese studio. They actually got
the studio to, like, help make it more authentic.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you know if, like, so this was, like...
It was a Netflix project.
It's a Netflix project, so they kind of had associations with studios. Like, do you know which parts were kind of, like... Do you know what studios did what for the movie?
No, I do not.
Okay. Because I know
it was, like, Netflix Animation Studio and Pearl Studios.
Okay, yeah. You won't even necessarily be able to find that information. I think that's not necessarily always easy to, like, actually sniff out. But that's really cool,
I'm
too.
assuming they had, like, not only to work on it, but to make sure it's, like, culturally authentic, right?
Yeah,
like,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it was really pretty.
Yeah.
And then it has 2D aspects in it. That,
it does have some very pretty 2D aspects.
Very, like, pencil drawn, drawing. Which is, you know, that's very Glenn Keane.
And it's always nice when they do that. Like, it's just to tell a story, to set up for their story. So they have that, like, pencil drawing, like, almost montage
and
thing.
I love that because, again, it's, you know, 2D does and hopefully will always have a place, even within 3D, because it's so important. And it's such a beautiful way to, like, to have some contrast and to tell a story within something that's totally 3D.
Yeah.
I think will always have a place. I hope it will.
I'm sure it will.
Because it's really pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Once AI learns how to do 2D animation, it'll always have a place. Yeah.
Nice.
That's it.
All right.
That's all I've been watching lately.
Amazing. That's all I've been watching too. I pretty much just watched CPs and not much else. Like, been, like, binging some comfort shows that I've seen before and playing a lot of Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, you're getting probably bored of hearing me saying I'm playing Stardew Valley, but I'm still in...
We're not going to have an episode about that. That would be a different podcast.
It's still animation. But I'm still... I like to restart because I'm still trying to do 100% completion of the community center within year 1.
Right.
And for context, I'm playing on the Switch, so I don't have any fancy mods or anything.
I don't know what any of this means.
You will one day, because you would like Stardew Valley.
I probably would.
You would. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for hanging in there for the long haul.
Yeah, for this a little bit longer episode. And again, like, we're always hoping to hear from you guys, so please reach out. You can send us anything on Instagram, send us an email, check out the website, and just
you message us on Discord.
Yeah, and just remember that,
all the things
we're
that
here
we're
for
about
you.
to tell you in 20 seconds.
And but especially like, when it comes to the AI stuff, like just know that it's kind of scary, but like it's going to be okay. We're going to look out for each other, and I hope that artists kind of just really, it's a time to come together and be strong, and mostly just informing yourself is probably all you can do at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one knows how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
Although all of our theories have been bad.
Yeah.
But hey,
hopefully,
what can you do?
Hopefully not. All right. Goodbye for now. Thank you for listening. If you have as much fun with these episodes as we have making them, consider following us on Instagram and Twitter at Evening with an Artist.
Get up-to-date news on future events, episodes, and more.
You can also check out our website, eveningwithanartist.com, for a look at previous recordings, interviewees, news, and upcoming shows.
We would love to hear from you, so send us a DM on Instagram or email us at jordynandrich@eveningwithanartist.com.
Don't forget to join our community on Discord and see where it all started.
Here, you can chat with other members and submit your interview questions.
Did you enjoy the music? All the tunes on our podcast were created by our music man, Dougal Dawson. To learn more about Dougal and listen to an uncut version of the Iwa tunes, you can find him on our website.
If you'd like to support the show, visit the donation page on our website, linked throughout all our social media, to help fund equipment, production, and guest speakers.
Until next time,
I've been Rich.
I've been Jordyn.
And this has been Evening with an Artist.